with all your invisibility.
In the
Reach up.
trash.
Okay. We try to remember the next time anybody really sees you that you smell like trash.
Not really.
Right.
I remember I have a SSC self suit
Yeah, but
I wear underneath the, and that keeps me in biostasis. It protects me from the environment. I won't
yeah,
smell like anything. It in fact eats my waste.
yeah. Okay, then the clothing on top of you will smell like trash because you are protected, but I guess all your equipment can still take on the bad smell of
Yeah, that's fine. I
your
can take it
sleeping
off.
place. Hmm?
I said that's fine. I can take it off.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel. It seems to me that you feel like I'd be embarrassed to smell like garbage. I'm an operative. I don't give a shit.
I think more the point is that you're on a stealth mission and you're going to give yourself a giveaway smell. But honestly, you could probably take it off and nobody will notice that you're there.
Or stealth my way into a bathroom and just wash.
At any rate, so you said the officers
Yeah.
come along.
Yeah, and they take you to the command center, and now let me scroll. Where's his name? Genau. Ilya Ordo. Give me a second. I paste that for you. Also have too many windows, but way less than 50. Commander Ilya Ordo stands in front of you in a uniform of high foam, which is black and red mostly, and says, his daughter is also in this room, and there's the operatives sitting on all the computers outside, and there's also one Egregorian in a uniform. He also seems to be a commander, but you get only introduced to Ilya Ordo. Welcome. I've been told by my daughter that you'd like to make diplomatic relations. So
That's right.
it,
I think if nothing else, at least we can come to the same page on this conflict and what it's about. I think has also been mentioned that there's an interesting AI that we should talk about.
oh, interesting. That's an interesting way to put it. Yeah, we are attacked by the forces of Overland Kingwatcher, and until recently, we presumed you were also working with him or for him.
Right. To clarify, the city of Evergreen is run by an AI named Prudence. No, I'm sorry, that was the
Hmm?
other one. By one named Patience. They generally administer, but also have a council of other colonists around them. Engineers, scientists, and I think a mayor. This is all part of Landmark Colonial's trademark colony setup. The AI keeps an eye on the company's interest. However, it doesn't seem to meet the same profile as this other AI. And in fact, I believe that AI has actually been working against the colony very recently.
Yeah, then I recommend you shut your NHP off and prepare for defending yourself.
Could you explain more about the threats? You say it's an NHP. Are there still large operating places where it can operate? Does it have
Oh,
a server in an old colony?
oh, yeah. He puts out a map and says, we were attacked by its robots or subalterns attack a lot. We don't know if it has a factory somewhere, and we are threatened to be overrun by it, basically.
Do you know anything
And
else about this AI? I think I briefly heard the name. Was it Kingfisher?
Overland
Kingwatcher.
Kingwatcher.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it styles itself as superior to humans. It despises non-machine intelligence, as it would put it, and we don't really know where it came from.
Hmm. Definitely does not sound friendly.
No,
Well,
it already killed a lot of my rangers, good people.
hmm. I think I have at least an idea of where to begin if I look at colony records. But that would be on the presumption that we aren't in any sort of conflict anymore. Perhaps we should talk about that briefly.
Yeah, I mean,
What do you think your objectives are with the colony right now? What is it that you want?
what can you tell me about a colony, military infrastructure, manpower?
I don't think those parts are important. The important part is that the colony sees itself as the current owner of the planet and has some union backing to the claim because there's no competing claim at the moment. If we remain on this planet, they would undoubtedly ask us to enforce their claim. However, you represent a very strong competing claim. There are definitely plenty of people who have been here longer, and whatever contract your people might have had before is undoubtedly not enforceable by any other entity than yourselves. I believe it could be possible that you could get the Union on your side and take control of that colony.
That sounds good. And you can do that?
Well, I don't know if I can, but I can get you the opportunity. If you have a set of individuals you would like to go to the Union to make your case, I have a shuttle which can take them off-world. I can assure that the shuttle is safe and that I'm doing my best to hide it from other prying eyes. So they should be able to get off safely and even return home safely. In exchange, I believe we should end hostilities for now, have a formal ceasefire, and together, perhaps we can figure out this Kingwatcher problem.
Yeah.
I can go ahead and return to Evergreen, and I can go ahead and see if there's anything in the database about this AI, and perhaps other former colonial assets that we can investigate. In exchange on that deal, I'd like some reinforcement from your own men. We've already fought them in battle a number of times, and I believe they are very capable. They'd be an incredible asset if we found anything. So that seems to be the two parts of the deal: an end of hostilities and military assistance in exchange for the ability to speak to the Union and our own assistance in this Kingwatcher matter. Does this sound like an agreeable situation to you?
Mm, I guess, I guess so, more or less. But there are still the military questions. If Evergreen isn't our enemy, then it's a target for Kingwatcher, and I need to know which threat it poses should it fall into the hands of Kingwatcher.
From what I've seen, it does possess some amount of subalterns that do appear to be vulnerable to Kingwatcher. This appears to be about the nature of our encounter with it at the Liu Mei's farm. However, I've assigned my own hacker, Lesser, to the task of defending it from outside intrusion, and I believe in their capabilities. They should be perfectly capable of defending from the outside.
Yeah, but
And we've
Kingwatcher.
already taken such measures to prevent it from making a large sweeping gesture as well.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean is, I've limited the ability for NHPs to intrude upon the colony. I think it should be able to give us some time to respond to any further attempt and force into closer proximity.
Yeah, but it's still run by an NHP, right?
That would be correct. However, the NHP is shackled and wiped frequently. I don't believe there should be any problem with patience.
Hmm. Yeah, you mentioned subalterns. We know about a power station. You also have a printer. Any more vulnerable infrastructure that could get us into trouble if Overland Kingwatcher gets it?
Hmm. At the moment, I don't know. I'd have to refer to Lesser for that. I assigned her to the task, and I hope that she's done a good job. I'd have to see what else she's happened to do in the last week on this front. I'll be sure to let her know about your concerns.
He seems to think about what you said. I can agree to a formal ceasefire. I'm not sure about the other parts, but because I still have to see Evergreen not as a threat anymore, but as a potential threat. You
Since we're
understand?
working in close proximity with Evergreen, if any such threat arises, it would be our job to deal with it. That's our current contract with Evergreen, to try to keep the colony safe for the time being. Which is probably why it's all the more interesting that if there happens to be some sort of political change out of our hands that nulls the contract, well, I guess we just couldn't do anything about that at all. Zero says, well, just like shrugging his shoulders, like, oh, but that'll never happen.
Okay. He looks at a Gregorian beside him, and they look for some time at each other and don't say anything. And then at some point, a Gregorian just nods, and Ilior reaches his hands out to, okay, then it is agreed.
I'm glad we could reach an agreement, Commander, and I'll shake Gordo's hand.
Oh, but one thing, you don't announce anything about the Gregorians before we are willing to do so.
I understand. And if
Then
you wish to send a Gregorian on the shuttle, I'll do my best to try to keep it concealed. That part is up to your discretion. I don't know what you'd like to send to the Union as your representative.
Can I send 2 representatives?
The shuttle I'm bringing is supposed to be fit for at least 10 families. So as long as you're under about 70 people, I'm sure you'll be fine.
Those are some big families.
Yeah. My initial assumption is like probably like 10 per. It probably actually is like 5, but whatever. Shuttle for favor. Let's see. Have 3 families and 1 Hycernian representative group. There we go.
When will this shuttle leave?
That's a good question. That's a question I have to toss back to you. What information do I have about when that will arrive?
Yeah, you were told about a month, so it should be 3 weeks from now.
All right, so I'll give them that information and the likely location that we'll organize, and a one-time pass encryption for an omninet signal to send to and from between each other for specifically this purpose. I'm sorry, not one-time pass, one-time pad. That's right.
Yeah, I got what you tried to
Yeah,
say.
there we go. All right. So it seems like our business has concluded, and very well. I've got a good bit of work ahead to do, and I'll keep you up to date.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing you again, Commander.
With the sorry, I got confused. The thing. Yeah, but we don't have Omninet access. You will have to send somebody here for further communication.
I understand.
But yes, I'm also glad we could reach a satisfactory settlement.
I'm just gonna write this down in my own notes while you handle this. This is an interesting development. Doop-a-doop. Let's see. Deal. You can continue while I'm typing down. It's fine.
Okay. So I assume you then will proceed to walk back to Evergreen.
Right, that's the plan.
Yeah. Lesser?
I think by the time I leave, I might send a message to Cobra to come and pick me up if possible. That'll at least shorten the trip a little bit.
All right. Upon getting a message, he would come get him.
Lesser? Well, do you want to go with Zero back to the colony or
No,
any
I
other
mean,
plans?
I'm still here. This is why it's all. I always find it a problem that every time I do power at a cost, that every time it turns into it's gonna take longer, because I have to stay here to do this thing. So I would just that I'll leave that to the end of the session. But no, I'm staying here because I'm doing this thing. I have a lot to do.
Then okay. Then Zero proceeds. You will take about 2 days, 1 day underground, 1 day above.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, Cobra, when you are in the evening in the tavern, in the single tavern of the city, you hear more reports from the outside that the hacked subalterns just they don't just act weirdly anymore. They also attacked some settlers, and you see some, yeah, you could call them refugees, some homesteaders who fled their own their home and run to Evergreen for safety. And every day there are maybe like 5 or 10 people who run now to Evergreen for safety.
Well, I don't have the same tools to deal with these as, say, Lesser or Zero. Shit. Is there anything wrong with the logistics of Evergreen that we wouldn't be able to take care of these refugees?
Oh, I mean, right now they still just can walk in, but it's there are still a lot of unused houses which were pre-built for future needs because the colony has a planned growth. But it could turn into a legal issue because patients sees it that way. By leaving Evergreen, they forfeited their rights. So if this problem keeps growing, if if more people come in the next few days, or if the amount of people increases, it will turn into a problem.
And these subalterns are basically like robot chassis with this Overland Kingmaker NHP running them. I'm trying to get this straight. Did I get that right? Or
Yeah, here it's Overland Kingwatcher.
oh, I had it written down correctly in my notes and I said it wrong while I was looking right at it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. I just have to laugh. When if you ever shall read a GM PDF about this campaign, they don't even get it consistently right in the PDF. They make mistakes between the pages. So yay!
Hooray, editing. I'm sure that'll happen later, right?
Right.
But did I get the gist of what they are correct?
Yeah, they are hacked by. You're not sure if they are copies of OK or rather hacked by OK. I mean, they have a basic programming on them. But yeah, they are in the thrall of OK, so to speak.
The only way I can think of dealing with them is going out there alone in my mech to combat them. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to stay in Evergreen and help deal with getting all these refugees situated and pretty much acting as security as I'm here from a mercenary force to make sure nobody, riots or decides to get cute and steal something.
Yeah. Okay. Then 2 days later, you're back together, so Zero and Cobra in Evergreen. Zero, you also hear now these reports of subalterns really attacking.
Cobra will debrief Zero about what's been going on in his absence, and he'll, of course, tell him what happened with the refugees that have turned into hostages.
Right. And I will inform Cobra or keep him up to date on sort of the situation that currently we won't have to worry about the Hycerdians for the moment, but we do need to look into Kingwatcher for the time being. I'm going to trust you to figure out the proper way to deal with these the refugee situation while I try to investigate the colonial history and see where we can go to investigate. At which point we'll change roles. I'll deal with the refugee situation and you can scout ahead. I think that seems like the most relevant course of action. And then I turn to Lesser, who I assume is here in their back, as they always are. and definitely never anywhere else, and go, and I'd like you to make sure that they're to deal with the subalterns for now. Kingwatcher will undoubtedly attempt to continue to use them in this way, and we need to protect the vulnerabilities of Evergreen. I'm trusting you with that job.
I think the thing here is that I frequently don't answer you anyway.
However, Zero will always ask in that case, can you confirm that? Because he needs to make sure that someone is there listening to him. Does Yevatol respond at all?
Oh, Yeveno's with me. Osiris would be there, and Osiris
Does
doesn't.
Osiris respond at all?
I don't imagine so. I mean, I don't really know what Osiris is up to at this moment.
I mean, the mech changed its behavior. It doesn't follow you around everywhere, so his mech even isn't even standing there, and nobody answers.
Because unlike Yeveno, who should go around not in me, with my hard suit, Osiris is in the mech. Osiris can't go anywhere else. So
Right,
wherever
so-
the mech is where your response would be coming from, and
So the mech, or at least what I can only assume to be you, isn't responding. So Zero will go ahead and issue an order. Lesser, step out of your mech for me.
I mean, even more so, Osiris is a lot more confrontational, or as written, Osiris thinks everybody does what it says. So you telling Osiris to do something is kind of funny, I guess.
Well, we'll play it out. I need something to play out. But what's happening here?
Sorry, didn't come across clear. The mech isn't even standing with you. I mean,
Oh, okay.
Right, you're literally talking to the space. This is the sitcom scenario where you just think somebody's in the room.
I mean, so you can spot a change in behavior of the mech, because basically the mech used to follow you everywhere or mostly around, but right now the mech is only seen at the walls.
I will attempt to send a message to Lesser. I'm going to assume this probably bounces back with individual did not receive message.
Lesser, do you bounce back messages or do you?
Well, no, it's because I'm
silence
underground, I think is what he's getting at.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
There's no way it can reach its recipient, so there's no handshake or anything saying like, yeah, he got the message.
yeah, but
Or
basically,
it was delivered.
If you sync email, you don't have to bounce back a message. You can just silently ignore it.
Oh, this whole time I've been
server.
thinking in terms of like SMS text messaging.
Yeah, for SMS, of course, too. If somebody doesn't get the message, you don't get a notification that he didn't get a message.
Hmm.
So.
Well, I can only assume. In the meantime, then, so before we rolled history for the colony, and I think I actually got information for it. Can I use some of that to begin my investigation?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Maybe there are records on planet or maps that I can use to try to figure out the exact location of former colonial assets and kind of build up a set of possible locations for Kingwatcher. And or important locations to an NHP that's been on planet through an entire war.
I did have a question for Vincent's job here. Are there records of all the colonists living in Evergreen and in the areas around, so that he can check the refugees against their records and make sure none of the Icernians are sneaking in and doing espionage?
I mean, there are records, but once some people left and got children outside of the walls. For the children, there aren't any records. But then again, you think you would spot most Hycernians anyway, because they have a funny way to speak common.
Okay, so there is kind of like in World War II when they would screen out Japanese spies by having call words like Lucy Lou or something like that. That would be hard for them to say.
Uh,
So he would be screening out the refugees to make sure none of them are Hycernians.
yeah, you can do it. But I mean, it's more like if you spoke to somebody from England 400 years ago. It has the same roots, but no, yeah, it doesn't fit it really. I mean, it's the same base language in the past, but they split off.
Yeah, so they have
Yeah.
very wildly different accents and probably some idioms are different.
Yeah, and they don't have a way to train your way of idiom and accents, so you basically spot them immediately. I mean, the Japanese and the Germans and so on, they had ways to fake it, to learn to fake it.
Yes.
But they don't even have a way to fake it because they don't have current videos and text and so on from you.
Well, that's good to know. But
Yeah.
that's one thing we don't.
So yeah, you can screen them, but yeah, no Hycernians in the refugees. They're all just normal settlers.
All right, in that case, he'll just be running security for whatever district we're putting them into so that once again, nobody tries any funny business like looting or causing trouble.
Yeah.
Cobra, local policeman.
The patience issues in order for any new refugees get refused access because they forfeited the right and they are forced to camp outside of the city, and they start building up tents.
All right, I'm gonna write that as a.
Okay. Zero, give me a second to.
Yeah, I imagine since I'm
Got
finding
it.
campaign info, you're probably scrounging the book a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's. Da. I know some things about okay, but I have to admit I don't remember everything. The book is kinda longish. So yeah, I mean, your questions. I remember the orbital platforms that were used. I mentioned them last time, right?
Mhm.
That were used
Yes.
to bomb the planet, but they wouldn't be NHP controlled primarily. Your best bet is that some of the military ships had NHPs on them, and somehow it's still on this planet, the NHP. But you, at least with a short search, you don't really find a perfect match. So
Right. I imagine if I'm like using my rank as Lancer in the Union, that like I could probably get a hold of records and see like, well, are there any NHPs called Overland or Kingwatcher that happen to have been on one of those ships that crashed and where they crashed, and there's probably just nothing of that name, right?
yeah, you remember that the information about this war is mostly buried and redacted, and you are a Lancer, but Lancer doesn't have that high of a clearance, especially
Right.
you're a mercenary Lancer, not within the Union.
So it definitely sounds difficult to get a hold of.
Yeah.
So maybe I should roll for it and see if I can actually scrounge anything up.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's give it a go. 15.
And 50. Da, da, da. Uh, I found a correct page. Give me a second. Yeah, okay. I make up a ship name. They. Oh, here it is. Why? No, that's different ships. I don't know what's the ship names are. You get a ship name.
Okay, I get a ship name. Do I get something like its course, its role, if it crashed, whereabouts?
Yeah, it crashed somewhere on this planet, and it was a frigate. Frigate? How it's called in English?
Yeah, forget.
Frigate.
Okay. About how far out is it from Evergreen?
Yeah, sorry when this was. It crashed somewhere on this planet. You don't know where it crashed on this planet. I mean, it was uh, lost in the later parts of the war, and they don't have perfect uh, locations where all their losses landed. So it got shot down, and yeah,
Right, so no way to really narrow it down.
yeah.
I could spitball and say something like, if there were other ships it was operating with, they might have flight information on where it crashed, but that still would rely on us finding a crash ship then. Is there any crash ship we might be able to locate?
I mean, it's I mean, okay. Sorry, give me a second to. You your guess it probably came down over the eastern continent. Remember, that's the other continent where
Right.
you found a city or got images of a city.
So I could perhaps try to start there, but that would require us leaving during a hostile situation.
Yes.
A shuttle's always a possibility, but I think there were complications with trying to get one of those last time, right?
Yeah, the complication is there usually are none on this planet. They
Right.
don't have shuttles of their own. Shuttles are mainly a thing of spaceships, which bring their own shuttles with them to be able to carry people on and off the planet.
Right. So the number one way I would have transporting myself and maybe some mechs out to investigate would be the shuttle in about 3 weeks, and then maybe I could go investigate that side of the planet.
I mean, you have a flying mech, and I don't have the math how long it would take you and if it would be a good idea, but You have a flying mech.
Yeah, that is true. I just make no assumptions about if that's any faster than regular mech travel, so I just haven't decided on it. So yeah, so I've done my bit of information gathering until I can figure out some other angle. I assume this has taken some time.
Yeah.
I suppose that probably gives some time for Lesser to finish up their stuff and for Cobra to keep an eye on things, I guess.
Uh, I mean, so yeah, uh, sorry, I'm starting to get tired again, and my head
It's
gets
okay.
a little bit confusing. The Lesser, I didn't plan on doing a second downtime action this session, so Lesser will have to wait a little bit for new downtime actions. Maybe we get to them. But let me take a look at my notes. Yeah, right, here we are. Refugees, and more refugees. Uh, you hear you get a word of certain Patrick from Merrick Town who tries to get help with their local NH patients copy. They left because of all the subalterns, and they fear it should be cycled soon. He fears if they don't cycle it, it will enter Cascade. And yeah, he's searching for people to help him.
Okay. This would be a job for Lesser, but I would need Lesser to respond for it. And I would assume Lesser's not capable of responding in the next 15 minutes in game.
I mean, the problem
So,
more is getting through all the subalterns to reach the patient's clone.
well, we do have the river.
Yeah. And so it's more of a fighting job. He can basically cycle it himself, but what he's unable to do is fighting off a lot of subalterns that try to kill people.
So we might have to go up there, try to clear it out, and then make sure we can cycle it so that Merricktown can stay safe then. Am I getting that
Yeah,
mission right?
I mean, yes.
Okay.
I mean, stay safe is a little bit that a situation doesn't get worse, because if you have a new cascading NHP on top of all the chaos here, who knows what could happen? It could ally with Overland Kingwatcher. Or...
Right. So this is the point where I sent a group up message to Cobra and Lesser. And I expect the mech to arrive. Does it, or do I have to go find it and drag it? What's gonna happen?
Uh, how do you word your message?
Uh, I'm probably wording it ultimately like sort of semi-neutrally. New mission: Psycho Barracktown NHP. Subaltern hostiles. Meet at this location for briefing and planning, as usual.
Then let me have a look at this Osiris thingy again.
I think the last two paragraphs are the only ones that would really need to be read.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Lester, what's the name of your mech again?
Twirling.
Tolly. Do you want to play roleplay Osiris yourself while you're still somewhere else?
That's fine.
I
I
don't
want to
want-
hear you play Osiris.
Yeah, I don't want to hear me play Osiris because then I have to
It's
think
your
of even
mech. You
more
should
stuff.
play it while you're not here.
Okay. It's the
Alright, fine. 1 second, I'm still chewing.
Okay.
okay. Yeah, then you
Fine, the
meet
mech
up.
shows up.
Okay. So let's see. We need to go to Merricktown to cycle the NHP. Zero just goes straight into the briefing. I think we can take the river. I think we could probably print out some sort of raft to take us upriver here, and avoid most of the contacts along the way. Though it might be prudent to simply head to the Liu homestead and then go on foot.
You ever do a lot of rafting, Zero?
It's a raft, it's not that difficult.
Didn't answer the question. Are you being evasive?
What's your suggestion?
I just asked a question.
Continuing on. We're going to need you to deal with cycling the NHP, since you are our hacking expert. Do you have any problems with that? I remember what happened back at the Leo Mays farm. That one exploded.
Did it?
Yes, the farmers were incredibly distraught at what happened.
You have an aversion to seeing people with negative reactions?
Are you going to do the same thing or not?
What did I do?
At this point, Zero is like narrowing his eyes. Lesser, please step out of your mech.
I can't, I'm naked.
Step out of your mech, Lesser. That is a commanding officer's order.
I'm stuck in here. Somebody super glued it shut.
Lesser,
In a distinct non-lesser voice.
yeah. Zero's going to sigh. If you don't open up, I'm going to impound the mech and administer punishments under the Mirror Smoke contract.
You don't have the authority to impound my mech.
I am the commanding officer. I have the authority to do as I wish.
Right,
on this mission.
but all these mechs are personal property. You don't have the authority to impound personal property as commanding officer.
This is not a request or an argument. You are doing so now.
Okay. Okay. The mech opens up.
Nobody inside.
I'm invisible.
Zero sighs. Osiris, did Lesser put you up to this?
How do you know my name?
I keep at least moderate tabs on what NHPs he's loading up. I'm a commanding officer. I need to know. Do you have any idea where Lesser is?
I assume back at the base. What is your concern
Which
about Lesser?
base?
Is it merely as a commanding officer, or is it out of frustration?
Where is Lesser? Which base was he at?
You're being awfully evasive every time I ask you a question.
I will shut you down and replace you with Athena if you refuse to answer my questions again. Is that understood, Osiris?
I feel like there's going to be a long pause at that very punctuated threat against an NHP. But then again, at the end of the day, he is an NHP and has to follow.
Right,
So-
if he's shackled, he should be following orders, even if he's an evasive asshole.
Right, no, he's more like he's trying to delve into your past, but you refuse to answer a single question, so... I'm sorry, repeat the last thing you just said.
The last thing I said was that if you refuse to answer my questions any further, I will remove you and replace you with Athena.
No, I'm sorry. The last question you asked.
Where is Lesser?
Oh, he answered that one. I thought you asked one after that.
Yeah, the question was expounding on the previous one. Which base? What do you know?
The Hessian city base underground thing. The place
The
we
High
drove away
Sernians.
from.
Do you know when he'll be back? Can we
Unknown.
count on him at all?
Yes?
Then what's the ETA?
I said no to that one. You asked two distinctly separate questions. Also,
And the answer to
Lesser
the
is
second
a
one is no.
Lesser is a she.
Osiris, congratulations. You are now in Lesser's position as a field officer.
Well, I mean,
Lesser is now beneath you. You will not take any further orders until this mission is complete. Understood? I am your chief officer. You are my subordinate, and Lesser is yours.
I feel like you're gonna force me into a loop here, because Osiris belongs to Lesser, and AHP has to follow the orders of its owner. But you're the commanding officer, so I mean, you're putting me into like a logic loop here.
Right, which is why Zero has positioned until the end of this mission. Merricktown has to be dealt with, and Zero is putting off the question rather than forcing you to answer it.
Alright, I think because that we're thinking machines here, that I would be able to avoid a logic loop by coming up with my own rationalizations and decisions on this one. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep moving.
Alright, Cobra, are there any preparations you want to take before heading out?
None that I am aware I need to do.
Okay. And to confirm with you, Teal, where are the subalterns in particular on the route? Since you said we'd have to go through with them to get to Merricktown, right?
Yeah. Like,
Are they just around Merricktown, or where exactly?
they are basically around and in Merricktown.
Okay, so they're not just
But
in the countryside. So
yeah,
the obvious thing to do is just to take the bridge out,
and
head up, get to Liu Farmstead, and then head to Merricktown. That seems like the obvious thing to do.
you sorry, you could also just walk up on your side of the river and then cross it like here.
Right. So this would be then, are the other two mechs loaded out to handle an amphibious landing here?
I mean,
I think Cobra had a boost system, but I don't remember what Lesser had last I heard. Did Lesser have any kind of system on his mech for dealing with that?
Oh, sorry, one sec. Does the EVA module? The EVA module does that, right?
Yeah,
yes.
that totally works.
Yeah, then that's what I've got.
Okay, cool. So we should be able to do exactly that, yeah. So let's head up on our side of the river, given that, and then approach Merricktown from the water. Any objections?
No?
So, plan.
All right, plan is a go. We are informing patients of our departure and heading out.
Yeah. Sorry. Let me just prepare a map. And somewhere, oh no, I misclicked again.
Back on the farm.
Yeah, it's for efficiency purposes, I reuse maps.
Oh, I understand. We also avoided
And
this fight last time, so now we get to do it.
yeah, it's and I can't find a map where falling is on. I really should copy it to the first page again. Sorry, I narrated shortly what happened.
It's all good.
Ah, I found Holling. And so that I don't forget it, I put him on the start page so I have an easier time next time. And yeah, you arrive at Merricktown and the
And Lester's there.
Alright, we've got a
And
lot of space.
oh god, space, right? And basically, what you see is a lot of subalterns, and it seems in the time between Patrick went to call for help and you going there, a lot of more of subalterns moved in. You see some signs of fighting, and you expect that once you return to Evergreen, there will be a lot more refugees because in Merricktown there basically aren't humans anymore, not live humans anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And you you don't have to fight your way through all the subalterns. You guess that you wouldn't be able to do it as there are really hundreds of them. But you have the location of the building where the patient's clone is in. You have only to fight your way in there, cycle or delete patients, and run away.
Okay. Brief question on the cycle/elite. Will that require any sort of hacking skill roll, or is that a easy to follow set of instructions?
The deleting is harder because NHPs aren't really designed to be deleted, but the cycling is like regular maintenance. It
Okay.
takes a little bit of time, but yeah.
We just gotta get inside and do that, and that should be possible. Okay.
I mean, your mission is basically to cycle it. If you want to destroy it, that would physically destroy it. That would be easier than deleting it. But
Right, and last time it blew up and everything walked away, so let's see what we can do this time.
Theta, could you set up a turn order?
Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah. Okay. Who wants to begin?
Now, when you say set up a turn order, what do you want me to do?
Oh no, I see it now. It's fine. Now I can add the stuff.
Are these the penitent swarms from before?
No,